right, man. You're ready to go.
Welcome to Race Time Radio. You'll hear from the best in Canadian U.S. racing this week. Grab a cold one and stick around.
All right, you're good. I got a car in the wall in 3.
The starter's tower has signaled. We're ready to roll. It's Race Time Radio, and it starts right now. Here's your host, Joe Chisholm.
You got time, bro. All right, buddy. You're the safe one. Keep her in one piece.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Race Time Radio. Y'all ready to go? Man, we got a dandy lineup for you here tonight, live on SiriusXM, Channel 167, Canada Talks, and, of course, hello to everybody out in RevTV land, right across the country. Junior, you had a busy weekend. What's going on? How you doing?
Good. Had a very busy weekend. It's one of those weekends where you wake up and you notice, hey, my voice is a little raspy. Got used a little bit this weekend, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. Friday night, made the trip down to Canada's half mile, down to Delaware Speedway. Mm-hmm. Got to work with a really great young kid, Chase Pinsino. And man, that kid ran off his feet this weekend.
Did he?
There was only 2 classes, and there was super stocks and late models, and he ran both of them. Mm-hmm. And the poor bugger ended up in tech every time he could. And so he was running from the tech shed to the pit road and jumping in the next car and racing it and taking it to the tech shed and running back to the other car. And man, he did a wonderful job. But P3 in the late model, and I had a little bit of difficulties in the super stock. Got into a wreck in the first one, and then the motor started laying down in the second one. But
I think everybody pretty well got into a wreck in that
first
super
one.
Stock.
Yeah. But a really strong outing for them, and yeah, it was cool to work with them. And then came home. It's a nice little three and a bit, right? 3-hour drive. And then went to Flamborough last night. So got to work with Josh Stoddy and the guys in the 17 car, getting ready for the APC race coming up next weekend. There was a handful of APC guys, Steckly, and of course J.R. Fitzpatrick was there. And
did the 54 car show up?
Yep,
I
Danny
know
Benedict was there.
He was talking about going.
Blair Wickett as well, the 97 car. Now, I believe Blair runs Flamborough quite often, but
he was there.
He was there. He
was.
APC guy as well.
Yeah.
It was great racing over there. Chenoweth as well. Chenoweth went to Victory Lane in the late model, and as well, Steckly collected the second one. But good racing, great racing all night. The Vintage Mods put on a good show. The Four Bangers did a great job, and same with the Four Funds and. The super stocks, 4 cars, man.
A little thin.
Difficult deal. And had some conversations, with some guys, and the car counts are pretty thin everywhere on the super stock side.
Yeah.
Difficult time, and it's incredible, and that's going to be something that we talk about later on in the future. But definitely difficult to watch. That's a little bit poopy to see.
Yeah, it is. We'll get into all that in just a bit. Let me tell you who we got coming on the show tonight. Stacked lineup. We're going to start it all off with Corey McAllister, driver that's 71 for 2-speed and Caldecott, and he's got a whole pile on there, but we'll get to that. Cory is going to join us. Of course, he won at Full Throttle Motor Speedway. That's where I hung out last night. Had a whale of a time. Great time. And Corey McAllister is going to join us right off the hop. Then we're going to go off to Canada's East Coast. We're going to check in with Brett Roy. Of course, the Super Late Model Series, the brand new one that was announced at the beginning of the year. They got one event in. Tried to go green at Petty International Raceway this weekend, and Mother Nature said, whoa, boys, you're not going nowhere just yet. So they had to cancel. We'll get you up to date on everything from out there with Brett Roy. We'll also stay on the East Coast for a little bit longer. We'll catch up with a guy that's won the IWK 250, multiple wins in the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour. The number 67, Dylan Blankhorn, been kind of quiet. We haven't seen or heard anything from Dylan. You will tonight, live on Race Time. We'll come back into the province of Ontario after that and catch up with Kyle Steckley. He had a whale of a weekend, getting a victory Friday night at Delaware, Saturday night at Flamborough, and he's poised and ready to go for next Saturday night in the APC Series. We'll catch up with Kyle Steckley on the show. and then off to Canada's West Coast with the RS1 Cup Series and Challenge Series. Both went green yesterday out at Area 27 in BC, and it was Bryan Wevers, driver of the 66 TD Wealth Financial Machine. He went to victory lane in the Challenge Series. Thought, man, we haven't had any of those guys on yet. Tonight's the night. Bryan did it. He's going to join us on the show. We have that plus a pile of clips with feature winners at Full Throttle Speedway. We got a ton coming at you tonight, everybody. So glad you could tune in. Let's get to the Zoom line, shall we? And we'll bring in the guy that went to victory lane in that Ontario Sportsman Series number 71, 100 laps at Full Throttle. And this guy got it done. What's going on tonight there, Mr. Corey McAllister? Let me move my picture off your face here. And there we go. You look a whole lot better that way. How you doing, Corey?
Right on. Good, Joe. How are you guys doing?
Doing real good, man. I spent a little bit of time with you yesterday in the pit area at Full Throttle. The car looked good. It reacted well. And by all accounts, man, it did exactly what you wanted it to do. You ended up in victory lane, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. We didn't even practice a whole lot yesterday. We went out a couple times just to try a couple different things, and was happy with the car right off the trailer. We tested Thursday, worked on it really hard. Brian Mack was down and gave us a hand, and we wrenched on it hard, and I was really impressed with the car even at lap 100 last night.
Yeah, that's the way to have it, right? It's got to be rewarding, fulfilling, all of the above for you, the crew. I know the guys work awful hard on that car, and what a beautiful-looking race car, I might add. You've really outdone yourself this year with that car. Actually, both your cars look spectacular, but that 71 that you had there at Full Throttle last night, that's a pristine-looking machine, even better when you can count on it to go when you hit the gas pedal and does everything you want it to do. It obviously did that last night.
For sure, yeah, it was really good. Yeah, and thanks for the shout-out of the car. We try hard to make them look good, and yeah, we got a lot of compliments this year on it.
Yeah, when they show and go, that's what you absolutely wanted to do. Corey, looking at the times and the speeds, there was a lot of close competition there last night. Take us back through the race. Where did you fire off? Where did you start? And when did it feel like, hey, I got the potential here. I'm going to win this bloody race?
Well, really, you know, I kind of messed up in qualifying. We just didn't have enough heat in the tires yet. We missed the pole by 3/1000ths. We started outside pole. Knew we were going to have a good car. Kind of fell back right off the start. Was working up through. We took the lead, I think, I'm not sure, be around lap 15, and we had it to lap 45, and we actually ended up in the infield. And that's when I was really wondering if we were going to get it back or not. Went to the back and worked our way through, and yeah, the car was just working great.
Corey, obviously you've been a longtime competitor now in the Superstock realm. You've been, before the Superstock portion, you spent a long time in the mini stocks. You've traveled around. You've raced at basically every track in Ontario, if not every track in Ontario. I think you've been. But longer races, Superstock's kind of the longest race I can really remember in Superstocks is 75 laps. Is this the longest race you've competed in? And if so, what did it feel like to run those extra distance or that extra distance in the OSS car?
Well, it was definitely a big game changer. At the start, we were just trying to pace the field. We got out front, and we had a plan. We just wanted to pace the field. I'd never ran 100 laps before. I just wanted to keep the tires on the car. And, you know, I'll tell you one thing. At a lap 60, I wish I would have had a water jug in the car. But, you know, it was good. It was a change. It was a workout for sure. But we were able to keep the tires under the car. And I was really thankful when Scotty came across the radio and said, all right, 20 to go. Let's go.
Scotty said that Tuesday. He goes, Tuesday, I bet Corey's designing a water bottle for two-speed.
And that's important, right, Corey? And not enough is said, really, for guys like you that get in a race car, you're going out doing battle, and you get into those, distance races that you may not be used to. But in the summertime, and it wasn't really too bad last night at Full Throttle Speedway, but man, we get into July and August, you know, it gets rocket hot in those cars. You have to be hydrated all day. And I know, I can remember actually, you going over and hitting a Gatorade. I believe it was about an hour before you went out and qualified. And I actually thought to myself, didn't say anything. I thought, good for you, Corey. Hydrate. You got to do that. It's very important.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Good race. Good competitors. I know McGlynn was quick. He would have been right there. Connor James, the 4-car, another guy that was real quick. And Kevin Trevlin, of course, took the pole for the day. I got a quick clip with Kevin that we're going to roll in just a bit. But, yeah, he had a good fast car, good competition, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, actually, and that's my first full race with the OSS series. The 2 races I'd been a part of before were rain shortened, and then Delaware we blew up on lap 9. So really good group of guys right from the top, the management all the way down. I really enjoyed the series. It seemed like a good, clean race, and even when I went in the infield, Sean Mangin's not a guy to go out and dump you, and I knew that. It was frustrating at first, but I had to stop at their campsite before we left the track last night, and we had a few laughs. And it's just it's a good group of guys, and I'm really liking the series, to be honest.
And 3/1000ths of a second is the pole. Like when you talk close competition, the OSS has got it going on when the pole distance, from first to second is 3/1000ths. That's huge. That's it shows that there's a close competitive rule book. Number one, it shows that there's teams that are willing to go, do anything that it takes to win, and it also proves that there's a bunch of guys that can win. So it's definitely cool to see on the short track side of things. When you look at the car count, solid car count. When I was pulling in, I made the trip from Flamborough. I was kind of following along on Race Monitor on the way back. But when I was pulling in, it looked like there was a lot of people leaving. The races were just finishing up. But there was a ton of people leaving Full Throttle. So I imagine the crowd was definitely there to support the OSS as well.
It was, and it was great to see. Paul Trepanier has been working his butt off, and Cory, you can attest to this. You started racing really at Varney, didn't you? Or around there? You ran a lot of shows there.
Yeah, that's where I started my mini stock career, was Full Throttle. We ran there 2017, 2018, 2019, then went up to Sauble, and then COVID, I guess, and then we've been at Sunset ever since. But it was sure nice to get back and to see all of our local marketing partners, and 90% of our sponsors were in attendance yesterday. It was pretty damn cool, and that was the whole reason I wanted to go OSS race. I wanted to get back to Full Throttle. I want to get back to Sauble and the local area where we got a lot of support around here.
Yeah, and good on you. You gave them all something to cheer about, I can guarantee you. Sunset Speedway is up next for OSS. How about you? You've got your super stock, you got the OSS car. You're going to be a busy cat, but what's your next race?
We're actually off this coming weekend, which is a change, and then we head to Sunset with the OSS, and then we're into a really busy schedule with the super stock. Big shout out to Rick Spencer Walt, my dad. They took the super stock down on this past Saturday as well to Sunset, and got second in the feature, won a heat, second in another heat, kept all the panels on the car, so that's pretty damn cool too.
You want to believe it. Sounds like your junior late model over at Sunset Speedway did pretty good too, right? They got him back out and running. Sounds like it was a busy night all the way around for two-speed.
Yeah, no, and Sean Chenoweth's another two-speed car found victory lane down at Flamborough. So, hey, if we can keep weekends rolling like that, that's a good one.
Yeah, it sure is. Cory, this has been great catching up with you tonight. Sponsorship on that race car. Now, I seen Caldecott on there. I seen two-speed, but there was some others too. Who else you got?
Strike Energy Systems out of Durham here. Great installation contractor. Epic Racewear. Coming Clean Laundry and Uniform. Dave's Auto Body, Elevated Workplace Safety, Nickel Insurance, Image Wraps, Ilium Industries, West Gray Auto Parts, Two Speed Motorsports, Caldecott Millwrights, and CM Precision.
Well, you did them all proud. I can guarantee you that. And now, look at you. You set the bar, your own bar. You set it at a win. Now you got to keep it up, bud.
Well, we started the season with 3 broken engines, so if we can keep good momentum, I'll take that momentum instead of bad momentum. So we're going to keep digging. We're going back testing already again this week. And, yeah, just because we have an off weekend doesn't mean we won't be working.
I guarantee it. No couch time for you. I can almost guarantee that. Corey, thanks so much for the time tonight. Great show, buddy. Great show.
Right on. Thanks a lot, guys.
You betcha. Corey McAllister, driver of the 71. They don't make them much better than Corey, I can tell you that. But there was a lot of close competition there last night. Always great to see. And, when things all fire off like that, that's exactly what you want, Junior. You want things to go boom, boom, boom. And they had it there last night. Not a lot of tore-up race cars. Oh, got to put it out to Tim Tolton, too. The 3, he had a great night going. Bad luck hit him again, but he had another good night going.
Yeah, definitely. And, there was kind of everything that you'd want from a 100-lap, stock car race at a short track. I seen cars getting loaded on the trailer with no body panels. I seen, clean cars getting loaded onto the trailer. And I also seen, a big celebration of victory lane. So it's kind of, a mixture of everything that you want to see. And man, I tell you what, the track, I hadn't been to Varney. I hadn't been to the racetrack in, man, I'm going to say 5 years. And the amount of new pavement around, the way that the wall is painted, the way that the grandstands looked, and the pit area concession booth and tech shed over there, man, everything looked gleaming. And you got to take your hat off to Paul Trepanier and those guys for all that they did. And I'm still impressed with Cory rhyming off all those sponsors without taking a breath.
He nailed them.
Do you think he's got them written down?
Nope.
No? You think he remembered every one of them?
He wasn't reading that at all.
No, he wasn't.
He had it.
Yeah, he had it right off the tip of his tongue.
Last point of business for the OSS. We got a quick word with the pole sitter. Got Kevin Trevlin in the 19 car. Here he is. With the pole sitter now for the OSS, the Ontario Sportsman Series here at Full Throttle Motor Speedway for 100 laps. Second race of the year. The 19 car. Kevin Trevlin goes and gets the pole. Kev, how are you?
I'm doing well. It was kind of a surprise. It didn't really feel that good in qualifying nor practice. We struggled a little bit. Very surprised. I don't know what to say. I mean, just it's one of those things, right? When it feels slow, it's fast, and it was just that. So.
Well, you got experience at this racetrack. What's the thoughts heading into the 100 here tonight?
Let's keep the brakes and the fenders in in good shape, and just come home. And it's a long race. It's a really tight corners out there, and we're gonna see how it goes first. Out of trouble.
You want to believe it? Brand new season. Did you race number 1, and how did it go for you?
Well, the rain. Wow, I think that kind of messed up a lot of people. It really threw me a little bit of a curveball. We had some issues with the car, just some small, minor things. It didn't feel kind of the same as last year, and I got it figured out, and obviously it's working good today.
Oh, it's working perfect. Speaking of good shape, this car looks amazing. You got lots of decals on here.
Have top level. They're pole barn builders. They're excellent people to deal with. We have Shock Pros ATV accessories. Carrie Morrison Realty, she's very good. If you need your house sold and whatever, that's the person to call. We have West Boulanger Long Haul Trucking, Families First Funeral Services. That's kind of a weird one. I know everybody kind of gets me on that one, but they've helped us out with some printing and things like that. A lot of people to thank behind the scenes. I kind of don't do this all by myself, even though it kind of looks sometimes like I do, but it's a lot of effort with a lot of people, and I want to thank everybody involved that helps me get through the season.
Full season for you this year. You're going to go and do every race, or are you going to pick and choose?
We're here full season with this car. Actually, my girlfriend, Laura Authier, we have her in the number 30 for the Delaware events. I'm trying, if we get a little bit more funding, we're going to run more. We have a super stock for Delaware on Friday night. It's an okay car. We're doing the best we can with that. And there are some things in the works to add another OSS car.
Hey, you're going to be busy, bud, and that's good.
Summer. Plus, I help a lot of guys out at the dirt, a lot of thunder stocks out at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, so definitely a busy summer. I kind of enjoy the summer. I love the summer and all the racing that comes with it.
You do a good job, too. Good luck in the 100. Hopefully we're talking at the end.
Thank you, sir. Yes, me too. That would be great.
And that was Kevin Trevlin. Does a great job behind the wheel. Watch, he has got the potential to win himself some races this year. We're going to hit our first break. When we come back, off to the East Coast we go. We'll talk Speedway 660, Super Late Model Series, and all the above with Brett Roy right on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
Hey, race fans, this is Larry Barrio, and you're listening to Race Time Radio on SiriusXM, Channel 167, Canada.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Race Time Radio is brought to you by RPM Race Parts. Order today, race tomorrow. Also by VP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology. And by Dawson Dental Centers. Get your victory lane smile at dawsondental.ca. It's time to get back to the racetracks. For over 30 years, Quick Fire Starters have fueled the sport on and off the track, making lighting your campfire as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's no need for kindling or paper. Just pop your Quick Fire Starter in the pit, add your wood, and presto, you're a pro. Quick Fire Starters. No harmful chemicals, and guaranteed to light your fire every time. Quick Fire Starters, the world's best fire starter.
When you think NASCAR, think SiriusXM NASCAR Radio.
This may be the most important thing that's ever happened.
You're damn right, baby.
The races.
The Daytona 500 win.
I love that we have playoff racing now.
The talk shows.
We'd love for you guys to participate as well.
The unprecedented.
Henry's Auto Pro 100. And then on Saturday, it's the IWK 250 featuring the stars of the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour and teams from across Canada and the U.S. For tickets and camping info, get to riversidespeedway.ca and join us live at Canada's ultimate short track race, the IWK 250 presented by Steve Lewis.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how.
VP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
Nothing connects like country music. Country music. Dig in to SiriusXM's Country Universe. The next generation on the highway, Channel 56.
I need something you.
This millennium's hits on Y2 Country, Channel 61. Or 80s and 90s Prime Country on Channel 58. Tap into these and more in the country category on the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
Taking you all the way to the track and back. It's Race Time Radio.
And just like that, we are back with you all live tonight on SiriusXM, Channel 167 Canada Talks. And let's get back to the Zoom line, shall we? And we'll bring in Mr. Brent. Roy, what's going on there tonight there, big guy? How are you?
Hey, guys. We're just dodging some showers that was much needed in the region. You won't hear racers say that very often, but between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and the wildfires going on, a lot of people were happy to see some rain. I will say that.
Man, it's crazy. We get fires, right? In northern Ontario, of course, BC plagued with them last year. Every year you get, forest fires. They happen. but I'll tell you what, I can't remember the last time that it hit that hard on Canada's East Coast. You guys are getting walloped. Are they under control now, Brent?
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, everything's under control. We got some rain in the region here now, and I don't think anybody on the East Coast raced here this past weekend. And I'm not just talking Canada. I think the entire East Coast was rained out, which again, we needed the rain, and it was okay. In the grand scheme of things, there was some loss in Nova Scotia. There was some families with some losses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To the extent I don't know. So hopefully everything as good as it can be.
Mm-hmm.
But the rain was definitely. The racers didn't want to see it, but I know a lot of people really were happy to see it.
I can't believe, normally here in Ontario, whatever we got for weather, within 2-3 days, something like that, boom, you guys got it on the East Coast. So sometimes we'll be getting plagued with rain here, and I'll go, oh, no, the weekend's coming. Those guys are going to get nailed. We have had a stretch of really, really good weather, touch wood. And, I kind of figured everybody would be in good shape out there on the East Coast, but not so. Donald Chisholm at Riverside, they had their monster truck open this weekend, and lo and behold, I don't think I've ever seen it where it's only 8 degrees and raining on the East Coast like it is now for June. That's unheard of. Everybody got soaked out there. Good thing, like you say, for one reason, bad in another.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a pretty shock to the system on, I think, Thursday. It was 35 degrees and humid and hot, and you wake up Thursday or Friday morning and it was like 6.
Yeah.
It was a wild swing. So, like I said, it was needed, but we got rained out with the second super late model race, which sucked. But that's okay, because we're just going to move that right down the calendar and move ahead to Oyster Bed here in a couple weeks.
That's right. You go July, right? That's where you moved it to. I can remember seeing it on the release, July something. I can't remember the date,
right.
But you will.
Yeah, so we moved the Petty date from it was June 3rd, and I kept mixing that up, to July 8th. So we're now July 8th at Petty International Raceway, and that's for them, that was going to be a Saturday only show. So that's actually moved to 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. But we're racing Saturday night with the Super Late Model Series there. So it's going to be a good weekend for everybody all involved. And but like I said, we got another stop to do before we get there.
Yeah, you do. How are things shaping up? I know they look good. I've been following along. Of course, getting the winners on. We had Ryan Messer on, and he's been doing great. He's been really lighting the lamp this year. He's won a couple of races now. How are things looking for not only the series, how are things coming along at Speedway 660? Because I know you got your finger on the pulse there, too.
Yeah, so on the super late model side of things have been awesome. After race 1, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, congratulations, great job, all this stuff. And I said, thanks a lot. A big team effort. Everybody did awesome. We had a lot of things that really didn't go great on the back end of things. And unless I told you, you'd never know. So there's still, for me, the event altogether, weather aside, was probably a 7 out of 10. So we were satisfied, and I was satisfied. Everybody, I will say that for the majority, everybody involved was very satisfied, but I'm picky when it comes to stuff. So, there's still some room to grow, which is good. And our media team, it was day 1. A couple of them, it was the first time meeting each other after a whole winter of like working together and stuff virtually. And they just knocked it out of the park, on ground at the track. So that was great. We're definitely looking forward to Oyster Bed here in 2 weeks over on PEI. It's been a while since I've been over to the track to watch anything. I only raced there once myself in a Sportsman event, so it's going to be a lot of fun to bring our stuff and go over there and put on a wild show for everybody in PEI, because it's I have a lot of people that said if the race is anything like it was on day 1, then they're already booking their hotels and they're going to PEI to watch it. And to me, that is the true measure of success, for your fans to want to do that and go to a track they've never been to. That tells me that you're doing something right. And
you're getting good participation from the guys on the island, right? PEI's always been a hotbed of super late model sportsman drivers. They do a good job at Oyster Bed Speedway, and to see names like Greg Proud and Darren McKinnon and Chris Hughes. And, the list is long from out there. All a bunch of good guys, hard-nosed competitors. And it's kind of cool when you get the New Brunswick, the Halifax guys, or the Nova Scotia, all those guys. Mix them up, put them on the island, see who comes out on top. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, absolutely. And a challenge for us has been, getting the New Brunswick cars over there. The PEI guys are fairly used to traveling, but getting the New Brunswick cars over there and committed to going over there. And we're doing a good job at that. Obviously it's not race day yet, but a lot of guys are committed to going over there for the first time. Ryan Messer mentioned he's never darkened the door ever. And he's going over there twice this year to compete at, arguably the highest level that you can. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see, how those guys cope with that track. Cause it's very unique. Turns 1 and 2 are banked kind of like 660, not a whole lot, but the very unique part is turn 2 levels off as you exit, so you don't get drive off the corner. So the outside usually goes away, and or drives away from the inside guy. And then turns 3 and 4 are banked like Riverside, just a little bit tighter of an apex. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of the guys from over here fare over there, and how those PEI guys really defend their home turf and whatnot.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. Junior, that would be one that if we could jump aboard a plane and go hit, that'd be a good one to go hit.
Yeah, I've really wanted to see that racetrack, and man, it's crazy for me because I've only ever seen Scotia Speed World and Riverside, in person. It sounds like, I want to see all of them out there.
Yeah.
I want to see 660. I really want to see Petty. I really want to see Oyster Bed. It's really interesting. The all the racetracks are so different out there.
They are.
When you look at,
and that's a real variety.
It is. Yeah. And not to say that the tracks aren't different here in Ontario, because they are, but I would hold them all kind of in the same category.
Yeah.
They're 2 drag strips and 2 turns.
Yep. Paper clips. Yep.
And out there, it seems like they're a lot more of a kind of an arc. Right? Like they're arc straightaways.
Like at Peterborough, when I look at Peterborough Speedway and the way that you race it, down the back stretch, you're turning pretty well all the time. From what I could see at 660, Brent, do you turn or do you go straight very often at 660? Because it looks like the guys are constantly either in banking or in turn mode.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, a lot of guys claim 660 is a circle. Now, that's my home track, and I say, no, it's not a circle, but I grew up there, so it's a little different.
Right.
I consider a perfect circle to be Oxford. That's the extreme. That's a flat, Maine's fastest parking lot. Quite literally, if you go too far, the banking goes the other way. That's the extreme. At 660, yeah, you're turning for the most part. You do have the straightaway, but enough that, like you said, you kind of arc out. There is a transition to the flat kind of 4th groove. You kind of put half the car out there and then come back in to make the next corner. So it's, to me, there's a straightaway. To guys from PEI, I had a couple guys like Troy Burke who'd never been there before, and Allison McKinnon never been there before. They're like, man, you're just constantly on the wheel here. You don't get a break. I'm like, what do you mean? You get a break between turns 2 and 3, and you get a break between turn 4 and 1.
Yeah,
there's your break.
There's your break.
So it was very unique, but man, those guys handled it very, very well. Some guys were there for the first time ever, and Troy Burke set fastest time in first practice. You'd never know. He was never there before, and had a great race.
Well, you guys are doing a great job in keeping everybody up to date on all the happenings. Do you have a pre-entry list now for PEI? Do you know who's going to be coming to the race?
We're working on that currently. We had one for Petty, and we were at, I think, 28 confirmed entries as of, the day before the rain started to come and whatnot. So, car counts have been really good for this series. It's all the guys have supported it really good. We're working on some fun stuff for PEI. My media guys always make fun of me for doing this because they say we're going to release something, and then I just tell you guys anyway. So I'm going to do that again.
Good.
I had a phone call here last week, and Nick's Towing in Charlottetown has stepped up to offer the Pole Challenge Award in PEI. So basically the same thing as the Sackville Service Center did for the Petty Raceway that we announced.
Yeah.
And within the top 10, if you qualify within the top 10, you have the option of, obviously we go to the first car first.
Yep.
If you take the pole challenge, you go to the back, but you instantly get $500.
Oh, cool.
And if you come through the field and finish in the top 3, you get another $500. So it's going to be a unique thing. I'm very curious to see if anybody takes that at Oyster Bed, because that place is tough to pass. It is very tough to pass. 660's got 2 raceable grooves. Petty is much the same way. Not quite to the extent, I don't think, but it's still it's tight, so it's a little harder to pass. But PEI is fairly hard to pass. So that'll be interesting to see if anybody takes the Nick's Towing pole challenge there, on top of the slew of other contingencies that we have. I thank God for the guys in timing and scoring. My right-hand man, Steve, he keeps all that stuff straight, because there's too many of them for me to keep track, and he's got her all under control.
And the officials too, right? When you get onto a track like that PEI it's a tight track. The preferred groove is on the bottom, and a lot of passing is going to be coming off the bottom. No, you're saying to the high side?
It's on the top. Yeah, PEI is a unique place. Everybody runs the top, so it's and again, I haven't been there for a while, so it might have changed, but it's a tough place that you got to kind of hang tough on the bottom if you're there. So our choose cone rule is going to be very interesting when we go there. And rewinding back to race 1 on our passing points for the heat race, that really, looking at Denver, our media guy, is a real stats guy.
Yeah,
he does it, and he had it done within like 3 minutes of the last heat being done. And so what he did also, because we had the rain out between the 2 events, he showed me what it was and what it would have been with a traditional, we'll call it, open race system.
Right.
And it was 2 completely different fields. It was incredible to see the total difference of it. So
that's cool.
It's going to be interesting to see how that evolves moving forward. And I said to a lot of people, I don't think that the heat racing was affected in race 1 a whole lot by the passing point system.
Right.
But I think it really will be, now that everybody saw the significance of passing 1 car.
Right.
It made a difference of like 10th to 20th.
Wow.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah, and it adds another level, right? Not only of competition, but for race fans, look out, there's more to watch. Those heat races are going to mean a lot.
Just a quick question on that, Brent. So do they draw for their heat position when they get in the gate for the next race? How does that work?
Yeah, so great question. What we do for the heat race positions is we take all of our entries on the ground that day, and we just randomize it in a list.
Okay.
So I go through and put them all in a spreadsheet, and I randomize it like 3 or 4 times, and then that's your order. So then it'll rejig the list, and then we take your top 4. We'll go to pole on heat 1, heat 2, heat 3, heat 4, and then 5th to 6th will be P2 on each individual sort of thing. So that's how we do it. And the reason I did it that way is, in the past, we've spent the 10 minutes going through, in the tech shed, drawing the numbers.
Right.
And I said, look, it's 2023. We don't need to be doing that anymore. As long as everybody's on the list and we can randomize it, and it's a computer and whatever,
yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah,
and everybody's good with it. And so it worked out quite well. So the only lineup thing is now Mr. Ryan Messer cannot start any better than 50% for round 2.
Right,
so,
right.
It'll be an interesting thing to see.
Well, it's all going to be interesting. I know we all look forward to that next race. We got to thank you for your time tonight, and look forward to seeing how everything goes. Hang on a sec there, Dill. We're going to get to you in a minute. I need Brett back up there.
There we go.
There you go. We got you back, bud.
No
but it's going to be exciting, and you guys are going to have a blast out there in PEI. We'll be watching along. You can follow on Twitter, Facebook, all the different social media. You guys got it all hooked up.
Yeah, for sure. The guys have done a phenomenal job on the social media side of it. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday we uploaded the full race from race 1 to our YouTube channel and shared that. We'll be doing that at every single event. The only slight change is we're going to have a highlight reel opened up for the day after. So we kind of missed the boat on that. And like I said, those tweaks moving forward to make it better as we go, we plan on doing that.
Wow, it's going to be awesome. You're doing a great job, you and the whole staff. Keep her going there, bud. We'll check in with you again here real soon.
For sure. Appreciate you guys having me on. You guys stay safe, and we'll see you later.
You want to believe it. That is Brent Roy, always hooked up with Speedway 660 and, of course, the Super Late Model Series out on Canada's East Coast. Going to be dynamite, seeing how everything all shakes out. They're heading for PEI next. We're going to hit this quick break. When we come back, Dylan Blankhorn's going to join us, and we're going to find out what Dillmeister's got for a plan for 2023. We'll do that next here, live on Race Time. Stay with us.
Hey, race fans, this is Jay Dewar, 2010 Sportsman Series Cup champion. Can we redo that?
Yeah.
Hello, race fans. This is Jay Dewar, 2010 Lucas Oil Sportsman Cup champion, and you're listening to Race Time Radio.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Leaf Racewear. Fuel your passion and confidence at leafracewear.com. We're an essential part of any team. And by Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Canada's biggest sports car racing weekends of the year. For tickets and details, get to Canadian Tire Motorsportpark.com. The Riverside 250 started back in 1977 at Riverside International Speedway. The 250 has continued for all but a couple of years since. In 2007, the 250 was titled the IWK 250 and has been Canada's crown jewel event to win every year. The tradition continues this July 15th weekend with the IWK 250 tailgate party on Thursday night, then Friday night. It's the Auto World Sportsman Series, Henry's Auto Pro 100. And then on Saturday, it's the IWK 250 featuring the stars of the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour and teams from across Canada and the U.S. For tickets and camping info, get to riversidespeedway.ca and join us live at Canada's ultimate short track race, the IWK 250 presented by Steve Lewis.
Hey everyone, this is World Series champions Lance McCullers Jr. and Carlos Correa. We're excited to announce that our podcast, The Walkout, is now available on SiriusXM.
Each episode, we go inside the world of combat sports, providing hardcore analysis, honest opinions, and top picks for every fight.
If you share the same passion for combat sports as we do, you need to listen to The Walkout.
Episodes are available on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, and wherever you get your podcasts.
RevTV, your motorsports and automotive destination. Watch live races from around the world and right here at home, from 2 wheels to 4 and so much more. RevTV is your source for motorsports. RevTV features exclusive race series, up-to-date news coverage, documentaries, how-to programs, and adrenaline-filled lifestyle programs 24/7. Go green with RevTV. Contact your TV provider to order.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is fueled by AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology. It's time to get back to the racetracks. For over 30 years, Quick Fire Starters have fueled the sport on and off the track, making lighting your campfire as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's no need for kindling or paper. Just pop your Quick Fire Starter in the pit, add your wood, and presto, you're a pro. Quick Fire Starters. No harmful chemicals and guaranteed to light your fire every time. Quick Fire Starters, the world's best fire starter.
If you're a Springsteen fan, you just found the promised land. Hear rare interviews and performances. Live concerts.
Is there anybody alive out there?
Celebrity guest DJs.
This is Rob Lowe. Hey, baby, it's Little Steven here.
And more exclusives when listening to Bruce Springsteen's channel.
Welcome, Bruce Springsteen, to E Street Radio, your home away from home. Great to be here.
E Street Radio, SiriusXM Channel 20.
Explore the musical world of an American rock and roll troubadour on his very own channel.
Tom Petty Radio.
All of Tom's music, influences, collaborations.
This is Tom Petty here on The Barry Treasure Show.
Heartbreakers hosted shows.
Check out my show, The Breakdown with Mike Campbell.
And more.
It's Tom Petty Radio.
Channel 31.
It's all right.
And in the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
Did you know you can get home and away feeds for every NFL, NBA, and NHL game on your phone?
I can't believe it!
Every game, all season. listen. It's all on the SXM app. Sports the way they're meant to be heard, with your hometown announcers just a tap away. Search for your team, then tap the star on the corner of the screen and save it as your favorite.
It is gone! An incredible finish!
And if you love college sports, when the game is on, just search for your school. It's always a home game when you listen to sports on the SXM app. Free for most subscribers.
Taking you all the way to the track and back. It's Race Time Radio. SiriusXM 167. Now, here's Joe.
And welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio. I have been just itching to get this next guest. We haven't talked to him, I'm going to say, since last fall, but we got him now. Let's welcome in Auto World's Dylan Blankhorn. What's going on tonight there, 67? How are you?
Not a whole lot, Joe. Thanks for giving me the message and having me on tonight.
Yeah, you bet, man. It's been a long time since we connected. I thought, man, we got to check in with you and find out.
I always know the season's getting close for me when you send me a message on Facebook to get on the show.
Yeah, how are things coming along? I haven't seen your name on entry blanks just yet. I know they can't be far away, though. What's happening?
Work gets in the way. We're always busy. Auto World obviously takes up a lot of my time, and then we do some real estate on the side when we're not at the dealership. So it feels like, honestly, I just hung up the helmet last year, and then you snap your fingers, and it's May, and of course I didn't. This is embarrassing to say, but the car is still sitting in the same spot it was the last race in Halifax, with the motor still out of it when they dynoed it. It's not even the thing yet. So
yeah,
we got a duster off, and I think we swept the floor a few times in the shop, but it's just seems like every time we get an extra minute to kind of relax, something comes up, and just like I said, life gets in the way. But racing, unfortunately, I didn't make. Racing isn't my living, so I got to do.
Oh yeah,
I had to grow up, and didn't make it big time. So I gotta work every few days a week anyway.
Well, that's right. You got to have your priorities straight, and Dylan, you got them straight. The good part is, when you do get prepared and head for a racetrack, you're going to be there competitive. It's not going to be no half-ass deal, so to speak. You're going to come at it full tilt like you always do, and that's the cool part. That's what fans expect, too. When they see the 67, they know you're coming to win.
Well, that's the thing, too, Joe, right? Like, I don't like to half-ass it, and as you know, and a lot of the viewers know, to show up and be competitive at one of these deals, you can't show up to the shop on Thursday, put the thing in the trailer, and show up race day and be competitive. These guys, they do their homework, and they spend all winter trying to get faster as they should. And sometimes we have a late start, but it's not a lack of effort. When we decide to go to a race, we like to feel like we're going to show up and win, and to do that, you gotta put in the work, and you gotta have the good people around you, and you gotta get that Van Dorn race car up to par, and they definitely helped me out quite a bit. So it doesn't take a whole lot. I just gotta focus on the driving part of it, and but like I said, the driving, when you sit and eat potato chips all winter, it takes a toll on you too. So that first race is a shock. Unfortunately, we're not going to be there in the pro stock next weekend, but we're going to show up in the Sportsman car, get our feet wet, and take it from there.
Well, see, Sunset Speedway's got that problem covered.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. So it's you mentioned sitting eating potato chips.
Right.
They have this thing called a walking taco.
A walking taco?
Walking taco. Have you ever heard of that before? Have you heard of that before?
I've never heard of that. I heard of Taco Bell. It's right across the
All right,
street
yeah,
here.
yeah. So Sunset Speedway's got a walking taco. You get a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
And there's a little cup of
dip, the hot
dip,
sauce,
the nacho dip.
Yeah.
But it folds out nice, and it's a walking taco. So you
Really?
Yep. And they market that. They market the hell out of them. You should see how many people are walking around with a bag of Doritos in their hand.
How many did you have?
I don't know.
A couple?
Well, yeah.
I can imagine.
You got to sample it when it's new, right?
That's good. That's the way to do it.
Dylan, looking forward to obviously getting back out there and like you said, knocking the rust off. When you look at what you've seen so far, have you seen much of the industry? Or do you just prefer to show up green and get after it?
I mean, I'd lie if I told you I didn't stay up to date from afar, of course.
Yep.
Because it's tough, if I'm going to sit down and watch the race, I might as well be there racing, right? So it is tough to watch because I want to be there.
Yep.
But I mean, as far as what I see, it's kind of, I don't know. It just seems like the boys are stepped up their game a little bit, and gonna have to. I almost thought about going to the gym today and running a little bit in the treadmill, but I didn't get there. But yeah, no, like it feels like I felt like our Riverside deal is good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we struggled a little bit at Halifax the last few years.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a big testing guy. We tested last year at Halifax. I feel like we made a few good changes to the race car that were good on high banked racetracks. I didn't get to go to Petty last year, so I'm excited to go there this year. I feel like the adjustments we made last year's is really going to help the car out at Petty. We're just going to get a little bit better in them flat tracks. I don't know. I got to call Butch up in Michigan, and we talked over the winter a little bit. We got a few ideas we're gonna try and hopefully get that package better. But like I said, if you don't get better, the other guys got better over the winter. So
right.
So
yeah, you can go from first or second to fifth or seventh real fast if you're not staying on top of the game.
You can do that, and if you're off just a little bit, or if a tire shrinks or grows a quarter inch, that's to us anyway. I don't know what I'm not speaking for anyone else, but
right.
That's from us either winning the race or coming fourth. Unfortunately, it's that tight right now.
Oh yeah, the line is right there with Dylan Blankhorn. He is going to be behind the wheel next weekend. Dylan, you're going to be in the Sportsman car. Is that the plan next weekend?
Yeah. So where was it? I think I was at the banquet at the Sportsman banquet last year. We just got talking. I got talking to Jerry and his wife, and we were just kind of shooting the shit a little bit. Probably a few drinks. After a few drinks, and he said, "Well, I got a Sportsman car." I said, "Well, when you can show up to a race, I like bringing my helmet and showing up to the racetrack." And I didn't really know him a whole lot. I talked to Brad a little bit. I knew Brad drove the car, and a few other guys I talked to. And I guess he's a pretty nice race car. And
oh yeah.
And he used to race. I know he's gonna not like when I say this, but he used to race race against my father when he raced Sportsman at Riverside. So
yeah.
So anyway, we put a deal together, and I went and tested the car, and I went up to his place, and we worked on it for a day, and it's a pretty neat deal. I'm just going to help them out. Our plan is just to run. We're going to try to get to Halifax a few races, maybe Riverside. We're going to try to run all the Riverside races. And I tell you what a good group of people. It's like I said, I didn't know them from a hole in the ground, and just from walking past each other at the racetrack. But
right.
Jerry is one smart guy. You tell him to go build something and man, he's a very talented mechanic and a good group of people. He has a lot of good guys helping him too. So it was a blast at the racetrack, and I like it. They take it serious. They don't show up to run second, and I like
right.
that about them. We don't show up to run second either. So
no.
I think might be a good combination, and we're just gonna have some fun it's not that Sportsman series. It's pretty stacked.
Oh, it is. We've only got a couple minutes here before I got to throw it back to Toronto, but I got to ask you, is it going to have a 67 or is it going to just be the number 6 on the door?
Well, it worked out good. I think he's always been 6, so I don't know if we were allowed to put. I don't know. I think there's already 67 in the series, so I think there's going to be a 6 on it, but there's going to be a little 7 behind it. So.
Oh yeah, well you got to keep your number, right?
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, we're going to take that next weekend, and we're going to try to get out in the racetrack this week just to knock the rust off me a little bit, and we're going to show up and have a good time, and you never know, hopefully put a good show on.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you will. You're going to get in there, have a lot of fun, and then you'll be back to searching for time to get the 67 Pro Stock done so that you'll have that to play with as well. But I can tell you the winner in all of this is going to be the race fans when they get you back out on the racetrack. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, Joe, that's the plan. Let's hopefully put a good show on for the fans, and a little less drama hopefully this year, and hopefully bring home some checker flags.
Well, you're gonna. I can guarantee it. Dylan, thanks so much for the time tonight on Race Time. I know we look forward to it, and good job with Auto World and everything that you do in the sport out in Eastern Canada. I know everybody thanks you for all the support that you do, and look forward to seeing you back behind the wheel, man.
Well, I appreciate it, and I look forward to being back at the racetrack and strapping that helmet on and putting on a good show.
Do me a favor, say hi to the old boy for me, will you?
I will.
Tell him I'll catch up with him at Riverside, guaranteed.
Sounds good.
You betcha. That's
have a good night, guys.
Dylan Blankhorn, driver of the 67. But watch, he's going to have a number 6 on the door. He's going to drive for Jerry Hayes in the Sportsman division. But keep an eye on him. That's going to energize Dylan to get the other stuff ready to go. I can guarantee it, Joe.
It will. But talk about the makings of the deal that's over here in Ontario. Right?
Yeah.
Lane Zardo and Kenny Grube with that 36 car, kind of the same program, really.
Yeah.
A very talented racer, a young racer being dropped in with a great group of people. It has the workings of what Lane Zardo and those guys have got going on with that super stock and the Bester Forest Products car. That's a really neat program. It has been for a lot of years, and it's definitely cool to see a guy like Dylan Blankhorn being dropped into a program like that. Their performance is going to elevate dramatically, and it should be pretty cool to watch for the fans.
And that is one fast race car Jerry Hayes has got there. Watching Eddie drive that machine, he was competitive every time he was in it.
Yep.
And I can well imagine Dylan is going to be ultra competitive in it with the sportsman drivers that are in that class. It's totally up another level with Mass, and it's going to be exciting. I can guarantee it. We got Kyle Steckley all warmed up and sort of off on the wings there, and we're going to be bringing him in. He had a whale of a weekend, winning at Delaware Speedway on Friday night and then Flamborough Speedway on Saturday night. You can say he's pretty well tuned to Zoom, and we're going to check in with Kyle Steckley on the other side. We got to throw it back to Toronto. Get you up to date on some of the news and highlights. Only takes 90 seconds. And then hour number 2 of Race Time Radio begins. And it all begins with that number 22 APC Chevrolet of Kyle Steckley. We're going to get to him in just a couple of moments. Going to throw it back to you, Scotty, in Toronto. Get us up to date. And then we will come back for hour number 2. We'll also check in with the RS1 Cup Challenge winner. We got Bryan Wevers also going to join the show in hour number 2. And a bunch of clips from Full Throttle Motor Speedway that you don't want to miss. We will be back. Stay with us all live tonight on Racetime Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 167, Canada Talks.
You're listening to Canada Talks on SiriusXM, Channel 167.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Leaf Racewear. Fuel your passion and confidence at leafracewear.com. We're an essential part of any team. And by Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Canada's biggest sports car racing weekends of the year. For tickets and details, get to CanadianTireMotorsportPark.com.
When you think NASCAR, think SiriusXM NASCAR Radio.
This may be the most important thing that's ever happened.
You're damn right, baby.
The races.
The Daytona 500 win.
I love that we have playoff racing now.
The talk shows.
We'd love for you guys to participate as well.
The unprecedented access.
Well, I'm here at the red carpet with the fans.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Chastain did a video game move.
Also streaming on the SXM app.
I think they're happy down here.
We're back with hour number 2 of Race Time Radio. With the two Joes here on Race Time Radio on Sirius XM 167, where Canada talks.
And that is the sound that fires off hour number 2 all live tonight on Sirius XM Channel 167 Canada Talk. So glad you could tune in tonight. We are going to get right to that Zoom line and bring in a red hot driver that did the 75 on Friday night at Delaware Speedway, taking the 22 car to victory lane, and then followed it up Saturday night at Flamborough Speedway and picked up one of the 30s there. And we'll find out how it all came together. For the number 22, we got Kyle Steckley. What's going on tonight there, 22? How are you?
Doing good, guys. Just relaxing after a busy weekend. Got the cars unloaded and ready to get back to work on them this weekend.
Man, oh man, you had an exciting Friday night, I can guarantee you that. I don't know, Kyle, if you know the announcers that were calling that race, but they had a real hate on for you on Friday night somehow. They were beating up on you pretty good, buddy.
Yeah, I guess they weren't liking what I did, but I wasn't trying to dump him, honestly. I was just trying to get him out of my way, and I was behind him for 3 laps, and he didn't want to get out of my way. I was a lead lap car, and he was a lap car, so I got to get by him eventually, and I just tried to move him out of the way, and he ended up going around, and it ended up working better for me than I expected.
Well, unfortunately for us, the viewers, we didn't see any of that on camera. We just heard the announcer saying, man, the 22 car, he's got to be put to the back. He did that intentionally and all this other. And it wasn't just once. They continued it on, and they kept calling it an endurance race. And I thought, man, are you guys off base here? I couldn't see it, but I said to Junior, first words I said, did the 22 dump somebody?
It was, yeah. That was the first thing.
Yeah.
I was in the car and I called home and the first thing was out of your mouth was, did the 22 dump the 11? And I said, no. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking back and because I was spotting for the 22 of Pinsino and I was like, no, he didn't. And then I was like, oh, Steckly. And I was like, well, he touched him, but he didn't dump him. Reflecting back. I mean, you are the leader, right? He is going a lap down. You went down into 1 and 2, and he took the high line, so you checked up, and then you went down the backstretch, and now you're like, okay, you're going to go to the top, and so you went to the bottom, and he went to the bottom. Well, there's nothing you can do as a leader. If you run 2 different lanes and you don't know which way to go, as a lap down car or as a car that's going to go a lap down, you either have to take a lane, right? And I don't care if it's the top lane that you want or the bottom.
Right.
But you better run the same line on both ends.
Yeah, hang on to it, right?
And now I would, as a race director, there's a lot of times that you can point at the race director and say, that's a bad call. That was a good call. Yeah. That was a good call. I wouldn't have put Steckly to the back either because really, and I'm not saying Lidster did anything terribly wrong.
No.
But he paid the price for what happened in going around. You didn't destroy a car by any stretch. You even checked up to kind of give him the spot or to let him save it. It's not like you kept your foot in it and pushed him all the way around. You could tell the way that the car ended up, on the outside. He's the one that just basically lost it. And no, it was definitely tough. And I watched that race back, and I do wag of the finger to the announcers on that one because you can't play favorites over anybody, and I don't think they were playing favorites. I just say you definitely can't make a call. Allow the race director to make the call, and then you can comment on it, but that's it.
Yeah, and the same's got to be true, too, right? When an official ever tries to put intent into a call, that's always a real slippery slope that they go down if they do that. And in my opinion, it's the wrong thing to do. You can't look at intent. You got to look at the situation, and you got to call it by the rules. And it sounds like it was mighty exciting. I wish we could have seen it on camera, but no better person to ask than you, the guy that was driving the car.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a crazy race. A lot of guys had blistered right rear tires, and mine ended up being really bad, and I just got looser and looser. I had a bit of a vibration and come on the radio and told Dad, and Dad said, keep driving her, so that's what we did. And then the caution came out, which worked out well for me in the end, but I honestly thought I was gonna go backwards because the car kept falling off. So I was trying to cool down the right rear and end up getting a good restart and got by the 19 and drove away there the last 5 laps. So it was good to get a win there. I was definitely happy with the car once I seen how bad our right rear tire was. But yeah, it was a fun night at Delaware.
So now what's that do, Kyle, to the to the crew, really? You're the guy driving the car. They're setting it up. But the thoughts, that was a 75-lap race on Friday night. There's no doubt that is going to be an APC extended distance race coming up later this year. Was it setup that blistered that right rear? Was it something that you guys can point at and say, okay, well, for the 150, it won't do that? Or do you think you have a tire issue?
For the 200.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think personally it's got to be a tire issue or something with the tires, because I wasn't the only one that did it. I know 4 or 5 guys in the late model class had blisters right rears, so I think there had to be something with the tires, or else a lot of guys didn't have their cars set up very well.
Yeah, and the guys that are running at the front too, or at least probably, right, are the guys that were maybe experiencing the difficulties. Kind of a scary prospect when you think that was a 75-lap race and you're going to run 200 later in the year. What are you going to do for tires, and how do you manage that?
Yeah, you definitely got to manage your tires a bit more on a 200-lap race. I think at Delaware you can still push it pretty hard for 75 laps. You don't have to save a ton, but it definitely is a longer distance race where you do have to save. So the 200-lapper, you're going to have to save a lot. You're not going to be able to push too hard. And I think it's going to make it entertaining for the fans and a lot of fun and more difficult for the drivers.
Oh, man, it's going to be a dandy.
I have a picture of, and I don't know whether you'll be able to see it or not on the camera, but I've got a really solid picture. The Pinsino's right rear tire did the exact same thing.
Same thing.
And I don't know if you can see it or not, but we're just away on the camera here. But yeah, no, it's definitely a difficult deal with those tires. There's by the sounds of it, it didn't happen at Flamborough. We kind of wandered around and checked a bunch, but did you see any issues at Flamborough at all?
No issues at all at Flamborough. But like Joe said, there's only 30-lap races, so it's definitely different. But I'm hoping it's all good for this weekend at Flamborough. I think it will be. I think partially it's part of a track issue with the new rubber or the new asphalt, and now it's getting some laps on it. I wonder if that's possibly some of the issue, but definitely concerning.
Yeah, well, look back to Sunset Speedway. It was a 150. How did your tires look on the car after 150 at Sunset?
Well, the sizes weren't good, but there's no blisters.
There was no blisters, none at all. So, maybe it was just a batch, right? Maybe, and it happens. We've seen it before. Temperature will play havoc with them, pressures. There's all kinds of variables in there. But speaking of Flamborough Speedway, you leave Delaware Speedway with the big trophy on Friday night. You headed into Flamborough, and you got to know that's JR country down there. That 55 car that he runs was bullet fast a couple weeks ago when I was there, and it sounds like it continues. There's a lot of real good iron flying around Flamborough, and you managed to squeak out a win. Where did you start on Saturday night?
So in the first race, I started 10th. I drove up to about, I think I was 4th or 5th, and I was really loose in the first race, and I tried getting around Stoddy, got on the apron, and just made a bad mistake and spun out. that was definitely not good on my part. That was pretty bad, but it ended up setting me up for the second race where I started pole, not without some tough competition. I had Danny Benedict starting right to my outside, and he pushed me hard at the start there and was right with me, and then we just kept cruising along. The car was a lot better in the second race, and we were able to lead the full way to the end and grab the win.
Hey, you spinning out there, you know, you had the opportunity to do the old 8 tires is better than 4, but you chose to pinch the car down and not do that. It was a gracious move, if you will. It sucks that it ended up that way. But it was because you were trying to race clean too. You know, it was you seen where you lost it, and you know, a lot of guys that just keep their foot in it, and it would have been in a really bad spot to do that because the guy on the outside is probably going to hit the wall. Right. But a lot of guys would keep or not a lot of guys, but what I'm saying is some guys would keep their foot in it and say, I don't care about you on the outside. You know, it was definitely a gracious move to a certain degree. Just it crappy the way that it ended up for you in that race. But you did come back up through the field a little bit after that. The car seemed to look really good out there, and you seemed to obviously. Did you make many adjustments between race 1 and race 2?
Yeah, we tightened the car up quite a bit in between the first and second race. I just wasn't getting off the corner as good as I would have liked in the first race. And that's a new car this year, so we've been trying lots of stuff with it, still trying to get the bugs fixed and worked out with it, but we're definitely getting it better. And in the second race, I was really happy with the car. So
did you learn everything you need to learn, Kyle? You go back there next Saturday night now, and it's the APC. It's a 100-lap race. But did you learn everything you needed to learn, you figure, heading into the next APC race?
Yes and no. You know, you always want to try more, and I probably got 10, 15 ideas from that night that I want to try. Some of them I will for next Saturday, and some of them are just too risky to try for a race day, especially the APC series. So I think we have a good notes and a good baseline of how we're going to go back next weekend, and I'm looking forward to it and hope we can contend for the win. Kind of unnerving, though, right? You're taking your APC car a Saturday night before the big one. You need to know stuff. You want the information so that you got it for the following Saturday night. But anything can happen on a short track, and we've seen it happen many times where, you know, you go with a brand new piece, and sometimes guys carry them home in a basket. It's got to be kind of unnerving. And you want to try and go out and get results that night. That's the only way you're going to get the information you need. It's a double-edged sword at times. Yeah, it's definitely kind of scary, you know, it's a brand new car. And there's some guys out there who aren't quite as careful as some of us and are a bit more aggressive, which is totally fine. It's racing, it's part of it. But it's definitely a little scary. Sometimes you just got to be smart. Put your car in good situations. Don't push to win the race when it's just a regular night. When we're focusing on the APC series, you know, you got to remember that what you're there for is more for learning than going out and winning 2 features. So got to play it smart and take care of your equipment and make sure you've got it for the next weeks ahead. Well, at least you got one of those feature wins. Congratulations on that. And it was a good weekend all in all. Next weekend, APC, what happens after that? What's your calendar sort of showing on the other side of that APC race, or have you got it figured out just yet? It definitely doesn't slow down at all. I've got Peterborough APC the following weekend, and then the following weekend, the 23rd, I believe, we're running a Friday night at Delaware, and then the next weekend's Canada Day weekend, and we're racing at Delaware Speedway. And it just goes on every single weekend until the end of the year from there. Yeah, man, it's not going to take long, right? It sort of, at this time of the year, the chain happens, and it just goes ka-clink, ka-clink, and you go to the next one. It's going to be over before we know it, but we're still only June, so that's the good news part of it, right? Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be good. Kyle, we appreciate the time tonight on Race Time. Genuinely do each and every time we get you on here. And good luck next Saturday night.
go out there and get them. Sponsorship on that 22 car has got to mean a lot.
Yeah, definitely. All my sponsors and crew are huge. You know, I've got some of the best supporters in the series in Canada, I think. I've got a great crew behind me who come out to the shop every week, get the car ready with me for the next weekend. And got to thank APC Auto Parts Centers, Pennzoil, Canusa, AW Millwrights, Quick Wick Fire Starters, Stewart's Equipment, Fritz Alder Precast, here Excavating, MBS Motorsports, Deloitte, Whalers. The list goes on. I could name probably 10, 15 more sponsors, but just shows all the support I get and all the local and provincial support I get is unbelievable, and I'm incredibly thankful for it.
Well, rightfully so. You give them results, kiddo, and that's what you need to do. Congratulations on the double bubble this weekend, and go get them next weekend. We'll be watching.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You betcha. That is Kyle Steckley, driver of the 22 in the APC series. You can see him. He shows up at all the big events. I wouldn't doubt we'll see him at the Gold Rush, too, come Flamborough Speedway. He'll be adding them all in there. He's one of those guys that there is no slowdown in him. And he's going to be in the Pinty's car, too, at some point.
Yeah, he's definitely. I believe that he's running the Toronto Indy. Will be his next race in the Pinty's car. But he's in the learning stage, right?
Yeah.
He's not just being groomed to be a late model racer.
No.
Like this, there's a heavy shot that Steckly will be in the top tiers of NASCAR at some point.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
And the way that they're approaching everything, and the way that they're learning and attracting the partnerships that they have, and all of those things, you can tell that there's an ulterior motive to the amount of racing that he's doing. It's not just because he wants to go racing. They're learning every time they hit the racetrack, and it is really cool to watch. They've got a great program there. He's a heck of a wheelman. If you're in the grandstands and you see Steckly roll in through the back gate, you should definitely get excited by that, because you're gonna watch some great racing, and you're also gonna be a part of the future of what this sport is, and he's a bright shining light in that future. So he's a heck of a wheelman.
Okay, we're gonna hit a quick break here on Race Time. When we come back, we're gonna go full throttle Motor Speedway. We'll give you some of those victory lane celebrations. Caught up with the two junior late model feature winners. We got the 4 Fun Stock Mini winner, and I think we even got the truck guy. So stick around with us. We will be back just a couple moments here on Race Time Radio. Stay with us.
Hey, race fans, this is Jay Dewar, 2010 Sportsman Series Cup champion. Can we redo that? Yep. Hello, race fans. This is Jay Dewar, 2010 Lucas Oil Sportsman Cup champion, and you're listening to Race Time Radio.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Did you know you can get home and away feeds for every NFL, NBA, and NHL game on your phone?
I can't believe it!
Every game, all season. It's all on the SXM app. Sports the way they're meant to be heard, with your hometown announcers just a tap away. Search for your team, then tap the star on the corner of the screen and save it as your favorite.
It is gone! An incredible finish!
And if you love college sports, when the game is on, just search for your school. It's always a home game when you listen to sports on the SXM app. Free for most subscribers.
The Riverside 250 started back in 1977 at Riverside International Speedway. The 250 has continued for all but a couple of years since. In 2007, the 250 was titled the IWK 250 and has been Canada's crown jewel event to win every year. The tradition continues this July 15th weekend with the IWK 250 tailgate party on Thursday night, then Friday night. It's the Auto World Sportsman Series, Henry's Auto Pro 100. And then on Saturday, it's the IWK 250 featuring the stars of the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour and teams from across Canada and the U.S. For tickets and camping info, Get to riversidespeedway.ca and join us live at Canada's ultimate short track race, the IWK 250 presented by Steve Lewis.
What is SiriusXM NASCAR Radio?
Tyler Reddy will go to victory lane at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You just won at Indy.
Down here in Victory Lane, let me ask the fans.
It's all.
Joey Logano will set his sights on a championship.
2 times, baby.
Things.
He shoved him up the right track.
Back up on the throttle as he heads to victory.
NASCAR.
Oh, he loses it. He crashes.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90. Also streaming on the SXM app.
Oh, hell yeah.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how. BP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
From the high banks of Daytona, cover it all. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark. And now, back to the Joes.
Hey, shake and bake, Cal. Woo! Shake and bake!
Here on Racetime Radio.
And welcome back, everybody, to Racetime Radio. So glad you could tune in tonight, live on SiriusXM, channel 167, Canada Talks. Of course, on RevTV, right across the nation, every Monday, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. And, of course, the Performance Motorsportnetwork.com. Throughout the course of the week, Gearhead Country Radio, lots of ways you can get Racetime Radio. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Racetime Radio TV on YouTube. We're up to like 170 subscribers and growing each and every week. So please hit that like and subscribe button, and you'll never miss Racetime Radio again. What's up, Junior? I seen you poking around there. What's up?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to two, and we talk about them pretty regularly, but the photographers in the sport. Canadian Motorsports Photography, Dan McKenzie, has kind of kicked off and has been working at his craft. And Dan McKenzie is doing a heck of a job capturing the moments in the sport, alongside with Thompson Photography.
Yep.
And then you've got Dave Franks and Race Pulse. And, man, there's a handful of very talented photographers that Ontario has. That a lot of in the across the border in the U.S. Photography is there's one guy for a bunch of racetracks. Here we've got a great bunch of photographers, and we had a great conversation about that on the weekend, talking about it with Al sitting on the pit wall, and just taking a look through. Obviously, after the weekend, you see a bunch of of the images that pop up, and I just wanted to give a shout out for them because there's a bunch of talented photographers here in Ontario.
We use their photos all the time.
Absolutely.
And we thank them very much. Okay, Full Throttle Motor Speedway is where I was at last night, and great night. I got to put it out to Paul Trepanier and his whole staff. They got the place looking magnificent, and they had a good show last night. For the first time in a long time, I got a chance to watch the junior late models. And if you've never seen these cars, you're about to see and hear from two of the winners. They ran double features last night. And the first guy to go to victory lane drives the number 9 car. Grayson Mason is his name, and I caught up with him right as he come off the racetrack. Here he is. Okay, with Grayson Mason now, the winner of Junior Late Model feature number 1 here at Full Throttle Speedway. Take us back through that one. Man, you had a good race.
Yeah, it was really a good battle with the 22. Started a little bit behind, but good pushes at the restarts and good race.
So does the track feel any different than it did earlier today when you were out for practice?
Well, it's warmer, so we had to change a few stuff, but it feels really good.
So you got another feature to go yet here tonight. Are you going to change anything, or is it all strategy and you keep those cars kind of tight to the vest?
It's all strategy and keep them tight to the vest.
Good stuff. You got some good sponsors on this car.
Yes, we do. We got Execulink, Tiny's, Fitch, Dye Design, and Peter Atkinson.
Oh, that's awesome. How long have you been racing, Grace?
My 3rd year.
The 3rd year. So have you had many feature wins?
This is my 2nd one.
Oh, really? Where did you get your first win? Right here at Full Throttle?
Yes.
Cool. So school's just about out. I guess busy summer for you, right? Going to race this car all summer?
Yes. Yeah.
Good deal. So congratulations on the win, and hopefully we see you back here after the next feature.
Yeah.
Perfect. He did a good job, I'll tell you that. Little number 9 car, threat to win each time he's on that racetrack. And his 2nd feature win, Junior, you know what that guy's going through.
I wish I knew on Full Throttle side. Man, Full Throttle is a cool track for junior late models.
Yeah.
The fast and the banking, man, it would feel like Daytona in those things. I only ever got the chance to run at Sauble, but I mean, man, that would be so cool to see the Full Throttle guys like on the little track, not the little track, on the little high bank track that is Varney.
Yeah, Grayson didn't win the 2nd feature. He did a real good job. He came close, but the 22 car went to victory lane on the 2nd main event. And here is Judah. Okay, with the driver, the number 22, Judah, you won the feature, and it's your first trip here to Full Throttle. How was that?
Oh, it was really crazy. It was a really hard race to win, especially with all the really good people out there, and I got to thank them for all the competition.
Awesome stuff. So, I see a couple of feature win stickers on this car. Those this year, or was that last year?
Well, that was my first win last year, and I've won 3 times more this year.
Really? Good for you. So, big difference. Did you have a lot of work to do on the car over the off-season?
Yeah, I don't know what we really did. We cleaned out the engine and a bunch of other stuff, but it's a lot better than last year, and I'm really glad.
That's cool. Judah, tell me now, where are you from? Where's home?
Well, I'm from Strathroy, and I don't know.
Strathroy. So you guys have come a little ways to get to the race. You got some great sponsorship on this machine.
Yeah, I have to thank all my sponsors because they all helped with all the money and parts for this car here. And without them, I wouldn't have been able to win the race.
Yeah, good for you. So what's the plan for you this year? You're going to run Grand Bend. I see you're at Grand Bend. Are you going to be coming back here with these guys? What's your plan?
Well, I guess my plan is to kind of fluctuate between all of them. Well, I guess I want to try out a bunch of new tracks and win as much as I can.
Good stuff. School's almost out. You got to be looking forward to that.
I am. I'm really done with school.
Well, you got to have good marks, I bet, or Papa Bear probably won't let you drive it. Who is all on your crew?
It's pretty much just my dad and my brother, and everybody else that comes and helps along. All the other fellow racers from Grand Bend, they all like to help and stuff like that. We're all a closely knit community.
Awesome stuff. Man, congratulations. You did a great job out there. That's it for tonight. When's your next race?
My next race should be next Saturday at Grand Bend, unless we come here again, which we might, but we might not.
Well, you have to keep your eye on that number 22. This guy can race. Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Look at the medal, too. Yeah, you had a little medal. They give them out at Full Throttle Speedway, and the kids did a great job. So many young drivers, and I'll tell you, that's the future of this sport. And see what they're doing is just amazing out there. And they're stepping it up. It's real racing, man, I'll tell you.
Yeah, definitely. And you look at just this weekend as well. There was a Camrath in Victory Lane over at in the junior late models at Sunset. Rick Spencer Waltz, young man, Jake, he got into a big wreck in the heat race, and they ended up fixing it and getting back out there, and he just about won the race. And you look at the competition level we had a great conversation, Corey McAllister's dad and I, about the thrash that happened to get all those cars put back together. And he's like, there was other people from other teams helping out, and they were lending parts and, piecing the things back together. He's like, it looked like a late model crew, kind of around a little wee miniature late model. But he's like, it was incredible to watch. And when you look at the junior class, Peterborough Speedway as well as running them, Grand Bend, man, it's healthy and it's kind of came out of nowhere over the past couple of years, hasn't it?
It sure has.
It grew, and I kind of touched on this with an interview earlier this year, and it's really it's where the junior class kind of envisioned it being when you started it. It was it just took a couple extra not a couple extra generations. It took an extra generation to get the ball rolling, because a lot of young guys seen the junior lates and they wanted to be in them. Then by that time they were a little bit older. They got into a 4Fun, or they got into a mini stock, or they got into a super stock, and then they started having kids. And they were like, you know what? I'm putting my kid in a junior late model.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing right now is all those people that looked at them when they were young kids, and they seen the couple of junior late models that were out there, and you're seeing that blast. And I think that it's very healthy for the Ontario racing community to get behind it. And there's a bunch of people that are doing just that, getting behind it. You look at guys like Darren Warren with Ilium Industries. You look at Jeff Sims. He was a big proponent with junior lates for years with the junior cast cars at Delaware. And there's a bunch of people that are behind the scenes really pushing on them and keeping them rolling. And really, you got to thank a guy like Brad Clark, the late Brad Clark, for keeping it going and keeping the ball rolling. And it's really cool to see the growth. And I think, by mid-season, there's going to be some classes that have some races that have 25 or 30 cars show up for them. So
that's going to be cool. Yeah, it sure will be. 4 Funs were up, or Fun Stocks, I believe they're called, at Full Throttle. Caught up with the winner there, Mark Merritt, in the 62 car. Here's Mark.
Mark Merritt goes to victory lane, feature race number 1 in the mini stock. Take us back through that one. Lots of cars out there. You had a good run.
Yeah, lots of cars, lots of new drivers, which is great to see. A lot of learning going on. People trying to learn certain lines, trying to figure out what works best for their vehicle and what works best for them. A lot of traffic to work through. It was interesting at times. I got hit once and managed to hold on to it, but this is just an entry-level class, right? And you can expect that from time to time and just try to avoid the wrecks.
Good deal. How many wins have you got this year? Is this win number 1 for you? I know you guys have been running a few nights.
This is, I'm just working a part-time schedule this year. So this is win number 2. I raced last week. I got a feature last week and a feature this week. So.
Good deal. Good deal. Now, you got lots of decals on this car. Take us through the sponsors, bud.
Lots of sponsors, lots of great people to help out. I'm trying to remember them all here. I got Aces Towing. They've been on board since day 1. Same with Base on Wheels. I have Clinton Urbanek Plumbing, Beltec Developments, Dave, the fence guy. I race for the Let's Remember Adam campaign. It's to raise awareness around safety in school buses. And I'll have April Wilson Photography as well. And I might be forgetting somebody there, but no, I think that's about it. Lots of help. It's good.
So, one more feature tonight. Track's going to change, right? That sun goes down, going to cool off. What's it going to do to this car?
Usually helps. Just this class, we have just the regular radial tires, so the heat definitely doesn't like the heat. As the track cools down, generally this car picks up more, so it likes the cold weather. The colder the tires, it seems to work better.
Good luck. We'll see you right back here at the end of the next one. Sound good?
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was Mark. He did a great job behind the wheel of that 62 car. There was 18 cars, Junior. Same thing. Not a lot of cars. Not a lot of cars got tore up. They did a good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And they put on a whale of a show there, too. They're 3 and 4 wide on a very tight surface. And, Mark's definitely been a staple, multi-time champion over there at Full Throttle.
Yeah, and a good guy, too, right? He would help you at the drop of a hat. If you were a new competitor, and he mentioned there was a lot of new guys, he'd be the kind of guy that you could walk over to in the pit area, and he'd do whatever he could to help you out. And that's kind of cool. Next up, the super trucks were there. Thunder trucks, I do believe they're called. And don't go by the screen here. It was my fault. I called him Jason Mills. It isn't. It's Jason Vale. But we got a quick word with Jason. At any rate, driver of the number 18 truck. He had a good night, won both features.
Okay, with Jason Vale now in the 18 truck, winner. Feature number 1 tonight at Full Throttle. Jay, good run.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a tough battle, but made our way through. Bumps and bruises here and there, but turned out pretty good.
Hey, the season's coming right along for you. It's young yet, and 3 wins, that is.
All 3 races we've been in, we won all 3 so far. A lot of work, but also a lot of help from a lot of our sponsors. Lima Garage, Waterloo Appliance Service, SpeedQuest, Black Creek Livestock, DCD Construction. There's so many people that put this together for us, and I could not have done it myself. And the best is to be able to go out there and have fun and not have to struggle near as bad.
And that's the key, right? You got to have fun. You got to be competitive. You checked all those boxes tonight. So, it's kind of warm right now, Full Throttle Speedway. That track looks like it's pretty greasy. You guys still have 1 more feature to go. What's the thoughts heading into that one? Where will you start? Did they do a total invert on the finish, or and what's the track going to do?
Well, we all drew pills for our starting spots. I started 4th, so I believe I'm going to start 6th on the second race. But yeah, it's basically going to try and cool off and keep cool heads and just keep out of trouble and keep it all in one piece and bring it home, hopefully in first place again.
Where's home for you? What's hometown?
I grew up in St. Clements. I live in Waterloo now. I've always been coming up to the racetrack. My dad used to race up here, and he kind of instilled it in the blood, and it's never leaving.
Paul Trepanier has done a wicked job. I haven't been to this track in a while. Man, it looks like a totally different place.
Yes, he has. In the past 2 or 3 years since he took over, he's really done a lot of work cleaning up the place, keeping it well maintained, organized, and trying to find all the staff to keep it up and keep it in good condition and bring it back to what it used to be.
Yeah, and this class has really come a long way. You guys are growing.
Yeah, it's a good class. For the most part, we pretty much keep everything fairly clean, but it's good, hard, tough racing. The trucks are a little heavier, so they push in the corner a little bit more. It definitely makes a driver. You have to be able to drive it, and not just all horsepower. There's a lot more into driving the trucks.
1 more tonight, and you'll be batting 1,000. Can you do it?
Well, I never say I'm going to win, but I'm certainly going to try.
Well, he did it, and he did bat 1,000 last night, winning both those features in the trucks. Great night of racing. I know I haven't got the mini truck features the way the schedule, and when I was doing one, I was missing the other. But I can tell you, the next time I'm out at Full Throttle Speedway, you can bet I'm going to be getting those trucks, and we'll get you some interviews with them. The other thing I'm going to do is throw that microphone right in the garbage. I'm at a disadvantage when I'm out there doing those interviews. I can't hear it. I got no monitoring system. I don't find out what I got until I get back to the studio, and unfortunately, that microphone's got to go in the garbage. It was there. It was audible, but just barely. We'll get that one fixed for the next time, but that's all part of the learning process. Worked better than it did at Motorama now, didn't it?
Yeah, it worked a heck of a lot better than Motorama, that's for sure.
It was empty. But, yeah. We're going to hit our final break of the night. When we come back, we're going to get Bryan Wevers on the Zoom line. We're going to talk RS1 Challenge Cup. Yeah, a little different. And Bryan hasn't made an appearance on Race Time. He's gone on the other side of the break. Stay with us, everybody. We will be back.
You're listening to Canada Talks on SiriusXM, channel 167.
It's time to get back to the racetracks. For over 30 years, Quick Fire Starters have fueled this sport on and off the track, making lighting your campfire as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's no need for kindling or paper. Just pop your Quick Fire Starter in the pit, add your wood, and presto, you're a pro. Quick fire starters, no harmful chemicals, and guaranteed to light your fire every time. Quick fire starters, the world's best fire starter.
Racetime Radio is brought to you by the Quality Inn, Halifax Airport, the official stay of the Racetime Radio broadcast crew.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere, doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Alexa, play NASCAR radio on SiriusXM.
SiriusXM NASCAR radio from SiriusXM.
Start your engine!
Gain access to NASCAR's biggest names.
Warren Truex Jr.
Kyle Busch.
Chase Elliott.
Hear live coverage of every single race.
They're side by side for the win.
It's unfiltered 24/7 NASCAR.
Welcome to Victory Lane.
We've got breaking news. Let's go to the hotline.
This is SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90. Listen on the app or at home on devices equipped with Amazon Alexa. Learn more at SiriusXM.com/NASCAR.
The Riverside 250 started back in 1977 at Riverside International Speedway. The 250 has continued for all but a couple of years since. In 2007, the 250 was titled the IWK 250 and has been Canada's crown jewel event to win every year. The tradition continues this July 15th weekend with the IWK 250 tailgate party on Thursday night, then Friday night. It's the Auto World Sportsman Series, Henry's Auto Pro 100. And then on Saturday, it's the IWK 250 featuring the stars of the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour and teams from across Canada and the U.S. For tickets and camping info, get to riversidespeedway.ca and join us live at Canada's ultimate short track race, the IWK 250 presented by Steve Lewis.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, Port Hawkesbury, New Glasgow, and Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
From the high banks of Daytona, we cover it all. We are Racetime Radio. And now, back to Joe Chisholm.
Run, Andy, run for your life!
Quick, Andy! Andy, run! Welcome back, everybody, to Racetime Radio. So glad you could tune in tonight. We are going to go right back to the Zoom line, and we're going to welcome in our next guest. He went to Victory Lane not once but twice yesterday at Area 27 in that beautiful number 66 TD Wealth Financial Machine. His name is Bryan Wevers, and he joins us now. What's going on tonight there, Bri? How are you?
Hey, Joe. I'm doing great. Just hanging out, getting ready to go for dinner up here on the West Coast.
Yeah, that's the stuff. That's what you want to do. You want to win a couple of races. That's a good way to kick off the season right there.
Yeah, actually surprised myself, to be honest with you. I just got in the lead right off the get-go, and I was managing to hold off Ingo Siebert, who was right on my tail, and Elisa Alexis, who was right there as well. So it surprised myself, actually, yeah.
Well, hey, Rye, you get enough experience, enough seat time, you're going to pick up speed. I know you and I were texting earlier today, and you said, you picked up a couple tenths over your times last year, and that's huge.
Well, actually, not tenths. We picked up 2 seconds from last year already on the long track at Area 27. So running from now, the 217 down to the 215s on qualifying. And now that challenge group, actually, we're running now about 2 seconds, all of us faster as well. So it's gotten really competitive. But yeah, seat time's everything. And it's also, all those other guys around that are helping you out as you go along.
Sure, yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? That's how you build in this sport. You learn from others, and you take what you learn and apply it, and that line keeps changing. Now you've set the bar though for yourself. You got 2 wins. Did you have any wins last year, Bryan? Forgive me for not knowing, but did you have any?
No, no, I did not. I think I was third place was my best finish last year.
Wow, Wow, good stuff. Now, what did you start racing in? Was RS1 Challenge Cup, was that it? Was that the beginning stage for you, or did you start out driving something else somewhere else?
Yeah, no, you know what? It was just like a lot of guys in the challenge. We got the bug driving a few years back in a corporate day with AVION Motorsports. And, you went from the Camaro SSs and they just threw you into one of these RS1s and said, why don't you take it out and see what you think?
Yeah.
And that first lap just hooked me right there. So I just went straight into it. And for the last 3 years, I've just been trying to learn it with seat time.
Yeah, amazing, right? That AVION Motorsports does such a good job with this. When the secret gets out, there's going to be too many cars, a lot of drivers in too many cars. You know that the success that Trevor and the whole group have done is gonna pay dividends. You know it's gonna. But that's kind of cool that you started in this and you've been able to learn. And the guys are pretty good about talking, right? They let you know different things.
Especially, Trevor for sure. Riley Siebert. A lot of the Cup guys, like for example, they had Tony Morris Jr. there today or this weekend. He has his own racing school, and he was, you can ask him any questions, and he would just, he'd give you pointers and tips and, braking sequence, everything. And I find that especially like this weekend, every time you come off the track and then he's talking to you, or you ask a couple of these Cup drivers, you can figure that you're adding a tenth or cutting off a tenth, 2 tenths just by that little advice. So you got all that accumulation of all these little tidbits that they give you really does help out in the end.
So where did you pick up the time? Did you pick it up down that beautiful long straightaway, or were you picking it up in the turns? Where do you think you've excelled over last year?
I had a chance this weekend during qualifying to I think it was what's his name, Brody Globe. Brody was here, and he's from the Trans Am series down south. And I had a chance just to basically lead follow him as hard as I could while he was qualifying, and just watching his lines and watching where he was braking. So I picked it up in a few corners that I could see that I was getting stronger at. And then, then you can see where I wasn't strong in some corners, but I would try to, the next time around, I'd try to emulate what he was doing. And for times where I felt like I was a little bit out of control, I come back in after qualifying thinking, man, I don't think I did that well.
Yeah.
And that was my personal best. So got to hand it to basically a lot of lead follows sometimes when you can do it, especially in qualifying. If you have that opportunity, just when people go out, get lucky.
Absolutely. And it's all learning process, right? And when you get a chance and go through the turns and you connect on it, it makes you, attack the turns even more the next time. You got to be careful, though. One of these times you're going to push it over the line, but that's how you learn.
Yeah. Well, it was close. What's interesting is it was close this weekend. My first race felt like I was personally on the edge. And that's where all that skill comes in from the Cup drivers compared to the challenge drivers. But I'd say this, we ran 2 challenge races, not one caution. Everybody stayed on the track, and it was door to door sometimes, especially as at Area 27, coming down, you go into turn 1 and then turn 2 and 3, a lot of carnage in those areas.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have one mishap in the challenge, which kind of shows over the last few years how much skill or talent, the guys are gaining. And of course the women are gaining in these turns. So yeah, it was actually not too bad.
Well, that'll be music to Al Labor's ears, that's for sure. Not a lot to fix up after the race. You guys will head off then to Saskatoon. Are you going to Saskatoon? Are you going to jump in?
No, I can't make it. It's 4 days, and unfortunately, to pay for my hobby, I do have to work. We do have some stuff going on at the Penticton Speedway, to which me, the Sieberts, and Lee Howarth, I think you've had interviewed before.
Yep,
we're all owners. So as a couple of those guys go up to Saskatchewan to race, I'm going to be heading to the Speedway just to watch over some events that we have going on.
Yeah, see, you got to work to play. There you go. And that backs it right
Yeah.
up. And how's Lee doing? Is he staying out of trouble? He would love seeing his race car, you guys together, flying around the track.
What we do is, when we first got it, is, we bought the car together, thought, let's just try it out and see how we like it. We both like it, but Lee's been spending this year some time, a lot of the corporate days, doing some charities with the car. And this weekend he couldn't make it, so I actually ran the Cup and the Challenge this weekend, and it was exhausting. Like we were texting before, it was like 33 degrees out there sometimes, and those cool suits really come in handy. But man, it was exhausting out there.
Yeah, and it would be too, especially when you're focused and concentrating on the race. You don't realize how hot it is until now you get a chance to breathe, and that's either when the checker comes out or an extended yellow. Good to hear that you guys didn't have a lot of yellows. That makes for a lot of fun, and it makes good for results. Good on you, man. Now you'll be leading the points in that particular part of the series.
Yeah, the fortunate thing is you get a couple out of the 10 races, you get 2 throwaways basically. So if and as you know, through the AVION series, they take care of all the cars. So really, if a mishap happens in your car, unfortunately, it's not the driver or your crew's fault. So they've given you 2 throwaways. So unfortunately for me, them going to Saskatoon, those are my throwaways. So then I got to show up for the rest of the series to make sure if I can lead the points.
Yeah.
But Joe, I'll say this, and I truly mean this. Winning is fun, and we all have a good laugh after, and have a beer. But it's just that group. Like what's great about the challenge is the egos are really in check, and everyone's there trying to get better and push each other to get better. And that is why I think the challenge is going to be. You're talking about growing series. That's why this series will grow and be popular. Is because if a mistake's made, no one's on you for it.
Right.
You can just learn from it and move on. And everyone is really a tight group in the way of we all want to win, but we all understand that us being in tight races just gets us better learning how to race. So that's why it's really popular right now amongst a lot of the racers that are there.
This is Bryan Wevers with us. He drives the number 66 in the RS1 Challenge Series. The first time we've heard from a Challenge Series driver. Thought it'd be a great idea, and we got to put it out to Riley Siebert. He did win both Cup races, and it looks like Cameron Haley was right there. Do you get a chance to talk to those guys much?
Yeah, actually, I did. I talked to Cameron. He was he came back from the first race, and good on him because he got into a bit of a wreck in the first Cup race, which slowed him down because half of his fender was off. But you got to hand it to Jeff Walton and his crew at AVION. They just fixed up his car in a matter of about a half hour, and he was right back out there. And I thought he had a real good second race. And I did talk to him. He was a little bit frustrated with that. But in the end, I think for him overall, it's a pretty good day. And funny enough, to talk about Riley, Riley's car was in the winter circuit twice, and I was there. But the challenge race, as you know, all the cars are basically the same.
Sure.
Ingo Siebert drove Riley's car the second race because he had some problems in his first Cup race. But, and he just did a couple tweaks to it during the practice run, and he was running right 2-3 the whole time in challenge with Riley's car. So, that's the other thing is you can just jump in any car. And that's what makes it kind of, at least you don't lose your day, even if you wreck your car sometimes. And that's happened this year. We've had some, our first race of the season, a non-points race, we had a pretty spectacular crash, and luckily everyone was fine, but we were jumping into cars as we went for this week just to get it all done.
Yeah. Amazing. Really good to see. So no Saskatoon for you. Pretty safe to say you will be at Penticton. Where is 100%. Home for you, Bryan? What's hometown for you?
Just outside of Vancouver, Richmond.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Luckily, I do have a place near the track, so I have somewhere to stay. But with work and whatnot and everything going on with us at the Speedway, it's pretty much we go up Friday, take care of a bunch of things, race on Saturday, and sometimes like last night I had to get home back to Richmond for today. I came back right after the race, and I got in at around 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So it was pretty exhausting.
Yeah, well, that's all part of it. You look forward to that all off season, don't you?
You dream it in your mind. How can you get better in corners? How can you come out faster? How can you dive in more? but yeah, you think about it a lot. You just hope you just get better the next time out.
Yeah, well, safe to say you got that part figured out. Now do it again and again and again. Bryan, this has been great catching up with you tonight. Congratulations on both victories. You're on the radar now. We're going to be hounding you. And if you don't win, we're going to be asking you why now.
Oh, well, Ingo Siebert's on my butt as well. He's just hounded me trying to get that place over me. And I'll say this too, Elisa Alexis.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had a chance to talk to her.
Yes, we
have.
Talk
about someone in 2 short years has become quite a driver. She's something else. And as you know, with her, it's like the Kermack crew, the collision crew.
Mm-hmm.
So Sean McIntosh and his dad. I mean, I see that and watch her up and come, because that's the one who's going to probably overtake me. I have no doubt about it, because she's one of those, every time she comes off, she's getting advice.
Yeah.
She's getting quicker and quicker and quicker.
Yeah, it's to take that advice, sink it in, and apply it. And
and she's doing that.
She is very good at it.
She's
Bryan,
skilled.
This has been great, buddy. Have a good week, and get ready, man. Penticton's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah, and hey, thanks for at least putting some spotlight on the Challenge Series. I think it's spectacular, and I really do believe that. And the model that Trevor Siebert has for this is just a winner.
Dynamite stuff. You betcha. Thanks so much, Bryan. You bet. That's Bryan Wevers. Went to Victory Lane. Kind of cool. And Challenge Cup Series. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely very cool. And what a great way of pairing, a up-and-comer with a professional or a semi-professional racer, that knows the ins and outs. And just a really cool model. Obviously, the road racing world, there's a couple of different divisions that have a similar model, but it's handled by a team. This deal here handled by AVION, and it's all under one roof, and it kind of has the feel of like a and just the way that he's describing it. You mentioned it, the winning is fun, but it's the camaraderie, it's all that stuff. Being at the racetrack with a bunch of people, with the egos down, with the excitement of being there,
right?
Fast cars. It's kind of like like a beer league locker room type of feel.
Yep.
But with the excitement of racing mixed in with it, and the professionalism of racing mixed in with it. It's and I do not mean that in a bad way at all. It's not beer league racing.
No,
that's not what I'm saying.
No.
Those guys take it seriously when they're out on the racetrack, and the neat part is when you're 40, beer league is pretty slow hockey. It's not super exciting.
Yeah. It's mush ball when it comes time for baseball.
Exactly,
Yeah.
And mush ball is mush ball.
Yeah.
In racing, the car doesn't know how old you are.
No.
And
Never does.
The competition level, it's not like 50-year-old person is going to make it to the Cup Series now. But that being said, there's plenty of 50-year-olds that can get up on the wheel and get after it.
Yeah.
And so it's great racing. It's got to be a blast for the people that are involved in it. They're definitely having a gas and just a completely different level of motorsports, right? It's just a different way to skin the cat, and just a lot of fun.
You're off to Chaudière
next
weekend. Pinty's. We got ABC coming up. Man, Junior, we got tis the season, but you're going to have some fun down there.
Tis the season. The Sportsmen are there as well at Chaudière, and the NASCAR trucks, not NASCAR Camp Promo trucks, but the truck series, the Quebec truck series, will be there, and just going to be a great weekend with Andrew Ranger. We got a hole to dig out of, man.
Mm-hmm.
2 races, back-to-back DNFs. Well, not a DNF at Mosport, but back there far enough. But we definitely have a hole to dig out of, and let's go have at her and go get it.
You betcha. Happy trails. Be safe, and we'll catch you when you get back here. But that's going to do it for Junior and I tonight in the Racetime Radio studio. Sure hope you enjoyed the show. Got to thank Sue right here in the Racetime Radio studio. Scotty back in Toronto. Tim at RevTV. A whole army of people working away to make sure that we get you as much info as we can over the 2 hours each and every week. Next week, we change our time on SiriusXM. We go live at 5 to 7, and that's going to happen every Sunday night, 5 to 7, each week on SiriusXM, Channel 167, starting next Sunday. That's going to do it for us. Have a good one, everybody, and we'll catch you next week at 5 on SiriusXM. Be safe.
Thanks for listening to Racetime Radio. Visit us on the web at www.racetimeradio.com. We hope you'll join us again next time for more Racetime Radio.
Come on now, dig.
Exclusively on your home for the hardcore race fan.
Excellent.